I was not able to catch up to Modern Undead.
That's unfortunate.
In my marathon.
Right.
I'm actually pretty close to catching up, so I'm definitely going to have to watch it again probably this week.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, because I just watched Earthshock.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then there are 3 stories after that, and then Modern Undead.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because, Adric was missing. And I mean, I didn't actually bother to look up where this fit in the continuity, although I probably should. Not necessarily before I watch it, but definitely before we talk about it. So I was assuming that this was after Adric. This was after Earthshock.
Yep.
And Adric's untimely demise. Or perhaps timely. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. You gotta go sometime.
That's true.
You might as well go while you're a child, I guess.
And
yeah.
That's the moral of the story.
That's the attitude you gotta take towards these things.
Yeah, and take all the dinosaurs with you.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it proper.
It occurred to me while I was watching that, we totally forgot to bring this up last week, but do you think the Ronnie was going to save Adric?
Oh, that's entirely possible. Yeah. That was her mission all along.
She wanted to stop the dinosaurs from being destroyed.
That's right. Yeah, so obviously, yeah. I mean, I think that the reason she didn't tell the doctor that was because it was just she thought it would be too painful for him.
And I'm sure it would have been. Anyhow, Modern Undead.
Yeah, Modern Undead.
I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Lewis Midas.
And this is The Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things. I liked it.
I liked it a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it was, there's a lot of different stuff going on, and I mean, I think you mentioned it fits into, like, a trilogy.
Yeah, it is the first part of the Black Guardian trilogy.
Okay, yeah, right. I remember that now. Yeah, and so there was some stuff that I guess I didn't quite understand, and maybe because I wasn't paying attention, or I just wasn't following closely enough, or just a combination of those things. But beyond that, I did really like this episode.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on in the episode.
Yeah.
With the Brigadier and the other Brigadier and the introduction of Turlough and the Black Guardian and the stuff about regeneration.
Yeah, and that was cool. I liked the sort of talking about regeneration and things like that, because that's something that, it's... I mean, obviously, it's a pretty big part of the show, but I like, and I know that it's been sort of spelled out before that the doctor can regenerate 12 times. I know that's been brought up before, but I like seeing that brought up again, and I like how it's like a plot point. I think that's kind of a cool thing. They take it and they make a cool story out of it that he can give up his regenerations to save these, or kill these people, but which is kind of saving them. But yeah, although I guess any powers, any significant time energy would work. I don't know if I guess all they had to do was get the Blinovitch limitation effect to trigger, and that would do it too.
Yeah, and I think the doctor mentions that it would have had to have happened at exactly the right time. So,
right, and so
it's kind of a coincidence.
Yeah, it's a big coincidence. Although I am so glad that they. I don't know. I guess I'm so glad that he acknowledged what a crazy coincidence it was, because I felt like that was okay then. I don't know. I feel that way. I tend to feel that way. Like, as long as it's acknowledged how crazy it is, then I'm like completely fine with it.
Okay.
I don't know why that is, but that was interesting. And I mean, yeah, and that's another thing is, I guess it's actually kind of interesting. What I gleaned from this was that there's some kind of connection between Time Lord regeneration and like time energy itself. Because I mean, otherwise, how could they sub in unless there's just any significant power source?
Yeah, that does seem to be the case.
Which, I mean,
if regeneration energy and Blinovitch limitation effect energy are interchangeable in that way, then they would almost have to be.
Yeah, which is interesting. And I wonder if that has any... I bet you could get a few more stories out of that kind of like exploring that sort of energy and stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting.
Yeah. One of the strange things about it, I thought, and they mentioned this a few times, the notion that, I'm not going to be a Time Lord anymore.
Right.
If I give up my regenerations. And I don't know if that really makes all that much sense, because, I mean, a Time Lord who's on his last regeneration is still a Time Lord, right?
No, he's a lame duck.
I guess. Maybe that's when you retire.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. That's true. Well, right. How much does the ability to regenerate tie into their biology? Like, was he talking... Like, was it like, oh, I'm not a real man kind of thing, like that sort of thing, or like?
Well, we don't know all that much about it. And one thing that kind of ties into that actually from the new series is that River, who is not a Time Lord, has the ability to regenerate because of in utero exposure to the time vortex. So that kind of ties into the Blinovitch limitation effect thingy too, I think.
Yeah, that does. It's sort of
about how time energy is time energy.
Right. And it kind of imbued her with those Time Lord properties. But yeah, that's definitely. And you know what? Maybe the like getting around the whole 12 generation limit will involve like the Doctor Blinovitching himself or something. I don't know, but if you could channel that somehow. But yeah, no, and so it's kind of cool. I kind of like the idea that there's this sort of that all this Time Lordy stuff is kind of interconnected. Not necessarily Time Lordy stuff, but like just time stuff.
I don't think it's incredibly clear what the machine's purpose is.
Right. Yeah.
Like when that's on Gallifrey, what purpose does it serve?
Yeah, I don't know. That's I feel like they said something though about what it was supposed to be used for, but I don't remember what it was.
Like it handles crises or something?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Something like that. Although, what exactly that means.
Is it like a midlife crisis but for a Time Lord?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they can't just like fix up an old TARDIS from when they were little or whatever. That's the analog, I think.
Well, the Doctor steals an old TARDIS.
That's true. Maybe this was his midlife crisis.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We don't actually know how old the Doctor was when he stole the TARDIS.
That's true.
Although funnily enough, this is the first story ever to establish in dialogue that William Hartnell was the first Doctor and that there weren't any Doctors before him.
Oh.
Because the Doctor mentions that he is the fifth Doctor and that he has eight lives left after this.
Right. You know, it's funny because I always find it weird and almost kind of meta when they bring that up. Like, I mean, you know, that's happened in the new series, you know, where the 11th Doctor sort of described himself as 11 to Craig when he was sort of bumping heads with him to give him a bunch of information. And so that's always weird to me. I mean, I don't know why I think that is so weird and meta. I don't know why. It's almost just being too, and there's no reason for that, but I just kind of feel like it's not too self-aware, but it's incredibly self-aware. Obviously, I mean, this is a part of his biology, so he's gonna pay attention to it. And I mean, of course, it's not difficult to keep count. So I don't know why though, but I always think that's kind of strange.
It is kind of strange.
I mean, yeah, it almost seems silly to say, but it's just, I don't know. It's just how I feel.
Well, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel.
Yeah. So I have some questions, I guess, which can be answered by either consulting Wikipedia or someone who has seen the whole Black Guardian trilogy, or maybe just someone who was paying more attention to this episode than me. But what was up with Turlough? Was he like possessed or something?
Oh, first of all, Turlough's not a human.
Okay, I thought that was, but what?
It's weird how they do that because it's not explained here who Turlough is, what he is if he's not a human, or and like why he's on Earth.
Okay.
Except for the fact that we hear him mention kind of early on in the story, "I hate Earth. I don't want to be there anymore. I want to leave."
Oh.
Which is kind of weird. But over the course of the Black Guardian trilogy, that is not clarified.
Okay, I was concerned that I had really missed something because I thought he was I guess I missed the line about him hating Earth, but I was under the impression he was this schoolboy. Like, I mean, he seemed like an odd person, but I mean, I don't know. He still seemed human to me.
Yeah, he is an alien who is living on Earth in the guise of a schoolboy, which is a weird thing not to even bother explaining or mentioning or have him say or anything. It's just sort of kind of assumed that you're going to catch on.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly thought I had missed something. And so, yeah, I definitely picked up on all the things he talked about later on, like, oh, I want to go back to... I don't remember what he said, but he implied that he wanted to go home or something, that he wanted to leave Earth.
He just keeps saying, I want to leave Earth,
right.
And then he says, I want to go home.
Right.
And yeah, we don't find out anything about Turlough's background until his very last story.
What? What? Really?
Yeah.
So, but... What? Okay, so... wait, but how long was he a companion?
Well, this is the middle of season 20, and he leaves towards the end of season 21. Okay. Or middle of season 21, I guess I might say.
Okay, so he was around for about a season.
Yeah.
So he... I don't know. I'm trying to picture, like, what it would have been like if we had discovered towards the end of series 3 that Martha was an alien.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it is suggested in the first episode that Turlough's not from Earth.
Yeah.
So there is at least a hint. And with regard to your, I guess you asked if he was possessed.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would ask that particularly, but just like to clarify, he is working against the Doctor.
Yeah. No, I definitely got that.
Even as of the end of the story.
Well, yeah. So I was working under the premise that he was in fact a schoolboy, but something happened to him after that car crash, and I assumed that I missed a part where he got possessed.
No, just during the car crash, he came into contact with the Black Guardian.
Okay.
So he was just a regular plain old alien, living on Earth as a schoolboy. Mm-hmm. And then during the car crash, he was contacted by the Black Guardian, who basically promised him that he could get off Earth as long as he, helped out the Black Guardian with killing the Doctor.
Okay. Yeah, I guess for some reason I thought it was kind of like a Fear Her situation. I don't know why, but yeah, okay. So that just seems like a really weird thing. Who came up with this idea?
Who came up with the idea for the character? That's interesting. I don't know. It could have been John Nathan Turner, the producer, mm-hmm. or the script editor at the time. To be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know who was the script editor during season 20. It might have been Eric Sayward. I don't know. That's
really interesting. It just never even... I mean, it's so bizarre to me because I was watching this episode and I was genuinely trying to figure out what was going on with Turlough, but and obviously I came to some very incorrect conclusions, but it's just, I mean, I know that over and over again he was talking about wanting to leave Earth and go back to his people or whatever, and it just I don't know, it was just really bizarre. But yeah, I guess if you want to do that, go. Yeah, I guess that's fine. This just was really, I don't know. I mean, maybe this made sense to everyone, back in '83 when this aired. It was '83, right?
Yeah, because this was the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
The during season 20, for the 20th anniversary, each story brought back a villain from previous days in the show. Huh. The Black Guardian trilogy being the Black Guardian.
Wait. So okay. I'm interested to know where did the Black Guardian get his start?
The Black Guardian and the White Guardian are from the Key to Time season.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, I remember that now. Okay.
Which you've only seen one story out of that season. I don't even know if they were mentioned in that season, but sort of the White Guardian kind of tasks the Doctor with finding the Key to Time. He's like, you got to watch out for that Black Guardian though, because he'll get you. Something along those lines. Not quite that.
I want to believe he said it exactly like that. But yeah, okay, I do remember that now. So I don't know what it was about him, but something about, I guess, the actor, or maybe it's just the Black Guardian and the way he talks. Something about it reminded me of the that like Tally hologram from
Oh,
Power of Three.
well, it could have just been like the booming voice.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Also, the fact that he didn't seem to have anything all that coherent to offer to the story.
Right.
One of the most noted things about the Black Guardian in the Black Guardian trilogy that a lot of people like to point out is that he has a bird on his head.
Yeah, I noticed that. Was that not a feature in the Key to Time?
No.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, yeah. It's very unfortunate.
So yeah. Does that? You gotta at least tell me. Does the bird ever get explained?
No, of course not. It's just what they wear in Guardian Land.
I guess so. Yeah. Wow. That's and really, why not? If you can. I mean, it worked out so well for the pirate captain to have a robotic bird on his shoulder. You got to figure having what looks to be a real bird, although mostly inanimate, having it on your head, that's got to be like 10 times better.
Yeah, presumably.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, so just to sort of catch you up on the background, though, the Doctor and Romana, after completing the Key to Time thingy, they go on the run from the Black Guardian. And the Doctor's idea is that the only way they can do that successfully is by installing a randomizer in the TARDIS. And so that's where the randomizer comes in, which is a feature of season 17. And then in season 18, the Doctor's like, I don't care anymore. I'm sure that guy's not weird about us anymore. So he just takes off the randomizer and.
Okay. See, I thought they somehow thwarted the Black Guardian. That's kind of what I figured.
No.
I
think he just gets sick of the randomizer and he's like, well, we can't run forever or something like that. And then he takes it off. And, it does take a while, but here is the Black Guardian finally catching up to him again.
With a bird on his head.
With a bird on the head is worth 2 in the hand, I think.
Yes, I think that's definitely true. And it stands to reason that is the reason he was finally able to catch up to the Doctor. So that's that. That's a really long arc there.
I don't think it was so much an arc as
like
they just kind of lost track of it, and then in season 20 they're like, yeah, let's bring that guy back.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess if they hadn't done that, then people for the new series would be like, oh man, I bet they're gonna, every time like there was like a secret or something or a big reveal or rumor or something, it'd be like, oh, I bet the Black Guardian's coming back.
Well, people do that now, so.
Well, there you go.
They do that now with any number of classic series characters, but the Black Guardian is definitely one of those, and the White Guardian and stuff like that. I don't know whether they'll ever come back. They're not all that interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, one's a good godlike being, one's a bad godlike being.
Well,
they don't like each other.
Yeah, I could understand how they might have some differences.
Beyond your confusion about what the deal was with Turlough, what did you think of the character?
Well, now that I know that that's him, that's how he's supposed to be. I mean, he seemed... I honestly don't know. I honestly just don't know how to feel about him. I mean, he was so singularly possessed with, just focused on the goal of getting the Doctor. Not even really, killing the Doctor, but just... Well, at one point, he seemed like...
Well, he also, didn't really want to.
Right. That's true. He just wants to get home.
Yeah. I kind of like the character because I like how at the very beginning he's like a complete dick. And I feel like that's kind of, interesting to have a companion who's just awful. I mean, there are some companions who are kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
But he's a companion who's just he's snide and mean and he's smart, but he's also just kind of cruel to his friend Hippo.
Right. And then he goes and lies to the headmaster or whatever and says that it was all Hippo's idea.
Yeah. I want to point out, though, in the scene where he and Hippo are driving in the car, the music...
I don't remember it.
Did you take note of that? Hold on. I have to play it back just so you know about it, because...
That's amazing. Now that I heard it again, I do remember that.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part of it is it would alternate between like scenes of Turlough grinning with that music playing, and then a shot of Hippo going no with this like minor chord playing for like a couple seconds, and then back to etc. And then it would just like alternate between them, and it'd be like no, stop, Turlough. And I just thought that was the hokiest and most unintentionally funny thing I have seen today.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
That's a Paddy Kingsland.
Yeah, I noticed that that was Paddy Kingsland. Yeah, wow. Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's gonna have to replace "I Am the Doctor" for my favorite piece of Doctor Who music.
They didn't include that in the Doctor Who proms. Did you follow that at all?
No.
The proms is a big musical festival in the UK, done by I guess it's done by the BBC. And they have like different like symphonic concerts every night, and they had one devoted to Doctor Who this year. Mm-hmm. They did one a few years back devoted to Doctor Who, but this one was like anniversary specific. And they performed a bunch of music, and they did a classic series medley.
Oh yeah,
which did not include that, unfortunately.
Oh man, that's too bad. That would just be amazing.
It would.
I just want to see, like, I don't know, I'm assuming that they would play it with, like, even though it's like, well, it's like mostly digital or synthesizers. I guess they could probably translate that to like an orchestra or something, like actual classical instruments or whatever.
Yeah, they did some of that in the medley, so.
I would love to see just like an orchestra full of people seriously playing that tune, completely deadpan. I want that. I want that before I die.
Well, if you steal technology from the Time Lords, steal the fire of the gods, as it were, you'll never die. So
there you go. Back to Turlough. I'm just not so sure. It certainly is interesting that you'd have like a sort of dickish character traveling with the Doctor, and that's definitely an interesting concept that's probably not been done before.
Well, I mean, Adric was kind of a dick sometimes.
Well, that's true, but I don't know.
I'm working with the vampires now.
I don't know. I feel like
but he's just like a self-interested bastard, basically, Turlough.
Yeah,
I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah, does he not realize that the Doctor can travel anywhere in time and space and can probably give him a lift?
Well, I think now he's kind of in over his head because the Black Guardian is kind of out for him to make him kill the Doctor. So
yeah, I guess.
So yeah, if we weren't going in random order, you could see how this all unfolds.
I could,
because we are going in random order.
Well, and theoretically, it's possible that I will see the rest of these possibly before we. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, it's possible that I will see the rest of these before we. I don't know. Go through the whole series, and although that would be kind of humorous if I don't find out what happens with the Black Guardian until like
very end.
Yeah, and it would be even worse if we saw them out of order. Not worse, but I mean, unfortunate. Yeah, I've really got the odds stacked against me, I guess.
Well, it's exactly as likely that you'll see the second story as it is that you'll see the third story. So
that's true. That's a positive way to look at it.
They won't necessarily be out of order. You lucked out with the first story being first.
That's true. I did. I should thank my lucky stars.
Yes, you should. So what did you think of the Brigadier?
I liked him. I liked him, and I liked seeing him again. Because,
yeah, now you haven't even seen much of the unit days with the Third Doctor. So
No.
So your primary exposure to the Brigadier is the post that Brigadier. Like,
yeah.
The older Brigadier.
Yeah, that's true. That is a true statement.
I thought that I really enjoyed seeing him here, and actually they almost didn't have him in this story.
Really? Why not?
They were going to have Ian Chesterton from the first Doctor era, which is why it's a teacher,
right?
Because Ian was a teacher.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense now that I'm thinking about it.
And I guess they couldn't schedule it or something like that, and so they just had to fill the role with some other character from the Doctor's past. So they picked out the Brigadier. And then the Brigadier from that point became kind of like the go-to, recurring guy. Like they got him in for the 5 Doctors after this.
Yeah.
They got him in for a story in the Seventh Doctor era, and then they continued to like make big use of him in Big Finish, for instance. And then he was in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. I didn't actually see that, but I remember reading something about that. But yeah, that's almost unfortunate because I would have really loved to see Ian again. But failing that, I do like seeing the Brigadier, and I think he's a good character. And well, we got twice the Brigadier in this episode. We got 2 Brigadiers.
Yeah, we did. 2 for the price of 1.
I think that's how you judge quantity of a character. I think if there's 2 of him, then
there is still a chance that we will see Ian. I'm crossing my fingers that he will be in the 50th anniversary special.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, because
he's still around, and he's quite old, but I think he's healthy for his age, so he could probably do something.
Yeah, so he could probably read a few lines if nothing else.
Yeah, he still does a lot of work with Big Finish.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, wow. Because the actress who plays Barbara, she's passed on at this point, right?
Yes. Although not before making her return appearance to Doctor Who in Meglos as a different character.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, no, I would definitely like to see Ian again, just to see what he's up to. Because that's kind of like, I don't know, that's like where Doctor Who started, so it's kind of interesting,
Yeah.
And also if he's not in the 50th, I mean, he's probably not going to be around for any other event. So I feel like now's the time.
Yeah.
And it's that'd be cool because that would be, that's where Doctor Who started. I don't know. That's just a cool thing.
Cool thing.
I guess because Turlough was tasked with making sure the Brigadiers did not come in contact with each other, and then at the very end, Turlough tries to stop the Brigadier from meeting his other self, and like the Brigadier just like tosses him out of the way.
Yep.
Very forcefully, and I love that.
Yeah. I kind of don't understand why they touch each other.
Isn't that the first thing you do?
You just like put up your hand?
Yeah, obviously the first thing you want to do is give yourself a high five.
I guess you're probably right. I've never been in that situation, but you may well be right.
Yeah, no, I would. That's the first thing I would do. I'd just see myself and be like, "Oh, dude," and then I'd just high five. It wouldn't even be like. I mean, I wouldn't even think of the consequences. It would just happen. It would be spontaneous.
And the resulting energy could be catastrophic.
Yep, pretty much. But it's all done for a high five.
So, what did you think about Nyssa and Tegan?
I kind of liked how they were. Well, first of all, let me start by saying that I think Tegan's a good companion now. Like, she hasn't gotten on my nerves like she did that in her introductory episode in Logopolis. So I have to say she's a fine companion. Mm-hmm. I thought that they were like I liked how I don't know. I find it interesting that Nyssa can fly the TARDIS, and I think that that's kind of cool. Even if it is kind of a limited, maybe she can't do everything that the Doctor can do, but she still has enough knowledge of TARDIS mechanics to maneuver it, which I think is cool.
Yeah, because she's another genius,
right?
So, which kind of made the 4-person TARDIS with the Doctor, Adric, Nyssa, and Tegan kind of imbalanced.
Right. Yeah, that's
But yeah, I feel like by this point, Tegan has mellowed quite a bit. Nyssa's also mellowed quite a bit too.
Yeah.
A little less intense than you noted she was previously.
Yeah. She also seems to have ditched whatever regal clothing she was in before.
She was wearing that for a while.
I guess they ultimately decided she needed some new clothes.
Yeah.
But
if you go by Big Finish, she's actually been traveling with the Doctor for a very long time by this point.
Really?
This is something you wouldn't necessarily know from watching this story, but between Castrovalva and now, Tegan actually left and then came back.
Oh.
And it was just the Doctor and Nyssa for a while.
Ah.
And so Big Finish has said a lot of stories in that period. So.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, and I kind of liked how they were sort of separate from the Doctor, but still useful. Like they were furthering, like, I mean, they were trying to get back to him, but they were doing things and advancing the plot and stuff, and that's cool.
Yeah, like Nyssa had her tech stuff to do, and then Tegan had a pretty big role in the story as well.
Yeah.
Like, sort of bringing the other Brigadier into things and whatnot.
Yeah.
All good things.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot going on, but everyone was doing stuff, and it was cool. I liked it.
I just really like the concept.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a villain who was not, like, out to destroy everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who just, wanted to die and was willing to do whatever he had to do it.
Right. Yeah. They weren't like actively evil or anything. They just they were just kind of regretful that they tried to dabble with, this science that just didn't work out for them. Yeah. No. And it was kind of cool. That's definitely not your average, Doctor Who villain, I guess you could say. It's nice to have that for a change.
Yeah, I especially like the bit where they're kind of confused and they think he's the Doctor.
Yeah, well,
even though I knew that he wasn't, but
yeah, well, it seemed like, I mean, it makes more sense when you say like, oh, he regenerated, but when they just immediately assumed that he was the Doctor, I was kind of confused because there wasn't really a whole lot to indicate that he was. Like, I mean, obviously he was all gross looking, but his voice sounded completely different.
That's regeneration for you.
Well, I know. It was more just that I was surprised. I mean, there was no. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I just don't know why they leapt to the idea that it was a regeneration right away. Unless they just didn't remember what the Doctor actually sounded like and just like, oh, this is probably the Doctor.
Yeah, could be. Why not?
I mean, on the other hand, you see the Doctor go into a transmat capsule, and then you go into it, and there's a guy in there. He's all weird looking, but you saw the Doctor go in, so I guess you assume that's the Doctor.
The moment they first met him, basically, like, well, not in Nissa's case, but early on in their knowing him, he regenerated. So maybe they think it's just something that just happens pretty regularly.
I guess so.
Maybe they thought he was overdue.
Yeah, maybe.
They were both a little pushy about thinking they know everything about regeneration, just because they'd seen one.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you've seen one, you've seen them all.
I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like everyone, like, Nyssa and Tegan and the Brigadier were all like, I've seen regeneration before. I know a thing or two about this. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it's hard to carry on a conversation when you just really liked everything. It's easy. It's much easier to complain about things.
Oh, there were points of confusion.
That's true. There were, but certainly outweighed by just the good things, I think.
Yeah, that handling of Turlough's introduction is very weird, though. I wonder how people reacted to it at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that maybe this was. Yeah, I don't know. What would people have even thought? Like, I mean, it's not like you can go onto Wikipedia and like look up a summary of the episode. I'm assuming that you couldn't. And so it's not like there's anything. There's just not really.
Yeah, pretty much all you'd have is whatever little tidbit was given in the TV listings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so you just have to go off of that, and maybe that was it. Maybe after they filmed and edited the episode, they realized that it was super unclear, and so maybe they just submitted the TV listing like it was just an explanation of Turlough and nothing else. So maybe like Turlough maybe that TV listing explains just absolutely everything about Turlough.
Although, you know what? On the other hand, it took them 6 years to firmly establish that the Doctor was an alien.
Well. That's true. They
didn't explain what the deal was with the Doctor's background until the end of season 6. So Turlough actually, I guess they get to it pretty quickly. They just take one season.
Well, but surely that they knew. I mean, a regeneration happened in between those seasons. So.
What? Sorry.
With the first Doctor regenerated into the second.
They. I don't think they knew in any specific terms. I mean.
Oh, that's right.
They just knew that he had, because I mean they were kind of making it up as they went. So,
yeah,
it's more implied in the first ever regeneration that it's something that the TARDIS is doing to the Doctor, really. Or at least that's kind of how it seems to me from watching the reconstruction.
So maybe in their minds, maybe he wasn't an alien. Maybe he's just a human from the far future where regeneration happened with the aid of their futuristic time machines.
Yeah, sure.
Which they chose to make into police boxes.
Well, they don't choose it.
Well, okay.
It's a chameleon circuit.
That was established, though?
I don't know when that word was first used, but it was established in the very beginning that the TARDIS was supposed to blend in with its surroundings, and then it got stuck on the police box.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. So yeah, I don't know. Turlough's weird, man.
Eventually we'll get that story if we keep going long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. If only.
Lewis, let's pick another story to discuss on next week's episode of The Cloister.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so the next randomly selected story is Planet of the Spiders.
Huh. Have you mentioned that one before?
That is the final Third Doctor story.
Oh. Ah.
It's kind of an interesting one.
Huh. I have not seen it.
I have, but I've seen all the Third Doctor stories, so that's why.
That would do it.
Yeah. All right, well, Planet of the Spiders will be our next story.
I'm excited. I'm always excited, but I'm excited for this one. Yeah, I haven't really seen much Third Doctor at all, actually.
Yeah, this is Third Doctor, Sarah Jane. I like it.
Well, that's good enough for me.
I sure hope so.